Hey, everybody, and welcome to Nerdsplaining Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Da Silva. With me, as always, is my co-host, Jose
As
Romero.
always, greetings, salutations. Happy Nerd Day, everybody.
Welcome to the Week in Geek with here in Nerdsplaining. We're very excited to have you guys here today. We got a very good show for you today with all the news and practicalities, things we get to talk about as we talk about all the dirty stuff that we get geeked out about. Jose, what do we got lined up today?
I say we start with this because I know we talked about this. This is the show I love to hate. I guess maybe the Bad Batch, right? We the new season came out last week. We talked about it. None of us really raved about what we saw, right? Okay, let's give it another episode and see what happens. So the third episode
Three
drops.
episode rule, the Titan hat trick, as we
Yeah, the
call it.
Titan hat
You
trick,
give it
right?
three
So this
episodes.
is this is the
Is it?
one that may sway us to continue to watch the show or not. So I'll let you go first, Eric. What do you think about this stellar
Honestly,
episode?
I like this out of all three. This is, I think, the best episode of the three. Uh, I liked the commentary on like the clones and identity and standing up for yourself and following orders. I don't like Crosshairs. He makes me angry because if you have a large group of friends, especially when you're growing up from like high school to college, there's usually that one friend who's just sucks. Like, why do we hang out with this guy? He makes everything worse. That's Crosshair. Crosshair's that one guy who's like, dude, we're gonna go to a party. And it's like, no, we're not. It's dangerous. Like, it's not dangerous. It's 2 blocks down. No. Our parents know. That's the whole point of parents. We're trying to go. No. Like, it's just, he's a bummer. He's a bummer and makes you want to punch him in the face. And that's the only way I can put it. And I sympathized with him. It made me go, oh, I still hate him. I think he's a jerk. But I sympathize with him. And I thought that was the benchmark of a good show when you hate the person you're sympathizing with. So I liked it. Overall, I don't know if I'm going to watch anything after episode 3. Just because it was good. I kind of felt like that should have been an episode in season 1, like the back half of
Thank you.
season 1.
Yeah.
That should have been the episode. It was a little Johnny come lately in terms of what it should have done.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. Not a terrible episode. More action oriented like the first couple. But this is like a filler. Either, yeah, you're right. They done it last season or put it somewhere in the middle. Because, I mean, again, we haven't really. 3 episodes in, right? Where's the story? Right, like
What's the crux? Right? What are we
what are
doing?
we doing here? And it's an episode you could take a break and show something like this, and that's fine. But there's no story yet. Why are you giving us filler so early? Filler comes after story. I may be out too, man. I don't despise it. It's not a terrible show. It's just not interesting. Too much stuff to
It's
watch.
well
It's
made.
not that
There's
interesting to
tons
be
of
honest with you.
references. They follow the continuity, but it just
Yeah, it's
um
I don't know.
someone I heard a couple of people say that they had more fun watching this episode than the whole series of Andor, and that's how I know
Stop.
those people are
Yeah,
dumb.
stop.
They're,
Yeah,
it's,
that's
yeah,
come on,
it's not.
come on.
It's not. It doesn't like you may feel a certain way, but like this episode to me felt like it saw Andor and goes, "Can we do Andor?" And like this is primarily for 8-year-olds. All right, we're gonna make Andor for 8-year-olds, and this is what you got.
This is as close as it gets. Yeah, this is.
This is the closest we can
I
do.
mean, listen, I
So
get people like what they like, but come on, you can prefer one show or another, and that's fine. But objectively speaking, I don't say you think this is a better show than Andor. It's nuts. Um, yeah, you went to action. You want fast pace, I guess. Quick 30 minutes.
which we did say this season it is one right after the other.
Yeah,
That doesn't really let you take a beat. It's keep things brisk, and I like that. It's cool, but moving with no intent is called cocaine. So I don't know if that's what you want your show to be. It's gonna be a lot of like, yeah, it's good for you.
Yeah,
Like,
you
no,
want
we
some
don't. We don't know.
80s decadence and have at it, but I mean, it's just, yeah, dude, I don't know.
It's like poetry, right?
Yeah, I think I may be out, man. It's not doing enough, and it's just like I feel like I'm just watching it just for the sake of watching it, as opposed to even enjoying it. And I'm
Yeah,
just like,
yeah. It really hasn't hooked me.
right, and
Like I said, it's the third episode is the best out of the three. Still not enough to make you go, I can't wait to the next
exactly. And
episode.
it seems like I don't know. It's odd. It's an odd show, but I may be out. Maybe I'd give it one more. I don't know. I'll see how I feel. It depends what comes out next week and what I have to watch. But yeah, it's a shame. It is what it is. Like I said, it's still down to Mandalorian and Andor as far as Star Wars is concerned, as far as consistency.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
It
You're
is, but
absolutely
yeah,
right.
I think we're both on the same page and all that. It's not Titans bad though.
No, 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 no. Like I've yet to see any show that competes at a level how bad Titans is day in and day out.
There's bad
Everyone
shows, but
fully
fair
committed
enough.
budget and still
Yeah,
garbage.
it's maybe as far as what the geek centric shows is, that might be one of the worst ones.
Yeah,
I don't think
absolutely.
there's debate there as far as I'm concerned, but it is what it is. But so yeah, I want to kind of get that out of the way now. Next thing, this is so interesting because I was going through some stories and finding out what's what, and I saw a couple of things that kind of just popped out. So
All
I'll do
right.
a little pick your poison here, Eric. So this is the first story. First
All
one
right,
came
cool.
out. I guess they're remaking. They are moving forward with this Escape from LA remake or whatever, right? Reboot or whatever the case. So Escape from New York.
Kind of excited about it. Yeah,
Escape from LA. That's really bad. So
that was really bad. New York is great.
Yeah,
but
that's a great little cult hit. John Carpenter, who's not going to be involved in this one at all, and he's talking about how
I hope they keep the soundtrack because that theme song.
it's really cool. But I mean, John Carpenter wrote it. I mean, I don't know if he has rights to
Yeah,
it, but I don't know. But that being said,
I hope they keep
he's
that.
going to be in it. He's not going to be involved. And they said they made gender swap Snake Plissken and all
Okay.
that. So my guess is Disney's doing this movie because that's what Disney does. The other story is Leonardo DiCaprio, of all people, is producing, and it seems like it's moving forward with Glenn Powell, the douchebag from Maverick, Captain Planet movie.
You know what?
Which is the worst idea here, dude? Which idea is the least
Leonardo
worst?
DiCaprio, look, let's be honest.
Producing only. That's
If Leonardo DiCaprio would produce any superhero, it would be a Captain Planet. Like, I mean, that is that. Listen, he saw look up, right? And he's a climate activist.
Mm-hmm.
He's trying to remind people we need to save the planet. And if the only thing people are watching are superhero movies, what do? Leo takes all that look up money and all the money he doesn't have to spend on women that aren't older than 27. And he takes all that money and he goes and he says, I'm going to help you guys make a superhero movie. And he's going to get, and Leo knows enough and his friends that have, tell you what, Leonardo DiCaprio produces a Captain Planet movie, and he gets his really good friend. I'm blanking on the name. Give me a second here. Jesus, Pulp Fiction, Inglourious Bastards, Hateful Eight.
Samuel Jackson. We talking about
No, director.
Oh, Tarantino.
Quentin Tarantino.
Okay.
Quentin Tarantino directs Captain Planet as a favor for Leonardo DiCaprio.
I would say that, you know what? I was going to say Escape from New York, but now you saw me more now on Captain Planet.
Oh, thank God.
with the caveat that it needs to be a Tarantino film.
That's the only way it gets made. It's the only way it gets made.
Anyway, it should be made. It's going to get made, likely, but...
Well, the way it
should be made. I'm not excited about the Escape from New York thing. I'm really not.
It has to be real specific to make it work.
Right. I just don't think it can. And these times, it worked great.
Now,
it worked great for the time, right? 80, 81, whatever that movie.
Wait, but let me caveat this one. If you told me the Duffer Brothers are going to remake Escape from New York, I'm in.
No, not even that.
I'm in. Duffer
not
Brothers,
even that.
Escape from New York, I'm in.
That movie has its place in its time, and a lot of movies can get remade. I don't know if this is one of them without losing that kind of. The fact that it was all campy, that's what made it cool, right? Somebody that cool hit.
It wasn't just campy. It was also there was eerie underline of like grittiness, of like a dirtiness to it. It wasn't campy. There was like a palpable like this
In terms
is
of
what humanity
presentation,
could do.
yes. Presentation wise, yes.
Oh yeah, there's no
Right. But
presentation,
as
and
far
it
as
made and it,
everything
you
else,
felt that way, right? You know
but
what I mean?
I would take.
So
Would you take Captain Planet with Tarantino over?
oh yeah,
Okay,
hands
that's
down,
what I.
without
There
even
we go. Okay.
what I mean batting a one-eye St. Pliskin, I would go Quentin Tarantino, Captain Planet,
That would be
produced
kind of
by
amazing.
Leonardo
That would be
DiCaprio.
a very interesting movie for sure. But I saw, but both of them moving through. So I saw them. Man, that's interesting. I hadn't even thought about Captain Planet in ages. The thing I remember is that
By the way,
Don Cheadle did that little parody on SNL, which is
by the
amazing.
way, uh, like part of me wants to joke around and go, and you get Samuel Jackson to be Captain Planet, but that Samuel Jackson is not superhero. He's like almost 80 years old. He's not gonna have a
Yeah,
superhero
it
build.
doesn't work. Yeah, I get it.
But you know who's going through a resurgence that could totally do it? Another friend of Tarantino's. You get Brad Pitt to be Captain Planet.
If Tarantino does it, yes.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
You pair them up,
You
absolutely.
get Brad Pitt
Yeah.
to be Captain Planet, directed by Tarantino, produced by DiCaprio. That's a that's a monster movie
Captain
right
Planet,
there.
so ridiculous. I was a little too old when that show came out, so I never really got into
Oh,
it.
so was
Yeah, I
I.
never.
So was I.
Whatever. Was the show even that popular? I don't know. Maybe it was. I don't even remember to be honest with you.
It was popular.
Was
It went for like 5 seasons,
okay.
like 4 or 5
All right.
seasons.
Fair enough.
It was popular.
Okay.
Unfortunately, every bad guy from Captain Planet looks like somebody in the Republican Party now, which is weird. Like their stances are their platforms, which is just bad. But like it worked. There was I think there was even toys.
No, there were toys. I'm pretty sure.
There were
Pretty
toys,
sure.
right?
I
I'm
don't doubt it.
almost
Yeah,
certain I saw toys.
I'm sure. I mean, it's not like this was never reached the Turtles level or nothing like that.
Oh no no no
Or
no no! No.
Even
Yeah
Power
yeah
Rangers
yeah yeah
wasn't a
yeah.
cheesy show back in that time, right?
But I think there was like a wave one for sure, maybe
Okay.
like a wave two
Interesting.
for
I'm
toys.
kind of
Yeah.
curious. People. I mean, how would that do? If people still care about that, but interesting because that's not a really known property anyway.
I guarantee you, people like us will tell their kids about it and then take their kids to go watch the movie, and they'll be introduced to whatever version they want to sell Captain Planet to
It won't
be
be the
now.
Tarantino version. Uh,
Oh, God, I hope it's a Tarantino
I know
version.
what I'm saying.
Oh my God, that's what I want. I want every kid growing up from like 2023 on to when they Captain Planet, they think Quentin Tarantino's Captain Planet. That's what I want.
Way too funny. So I know let's go to another feel good story here. This is interesting because a small bit here, but we all know Quan, of course, Short Round for those who know him from Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom. We just he made a
Goonies.
resurgence because of Everything Everywhere All at Once, and we both put
As
at the
well,
top.
he should.
Well deserved, right? And he won the Golden Globe for whatever that's worth. I'm a big fan of the Globes, but whatever. But he won, so he's getting some recognition. He's getting some spotlight. He talked about him. He left the business because he wasn't getting much work. And I think after Crazy Rich Asians came out, he kind of saw, I have an opportunity now, right, to come back to acting. So that's how he came back and all. So good for him. But yeah, apparently Kevin Feige called him and contacted him. Asked him to be in the MCU, in which he said yes, and he's going to be reportedly in Loki season 2. Don't know what he's going to be playing or who he's going to be playing in that, but he's going to be in a Short Round, dude. Just part of our childhood, Indiana Jones. You cheat, Dr. Jones, you cheat. Who doesn't know Short Round? So it's kind of cool to see him in there. I mean, I don't know who he could play. Maybe you can, guess as far as I don't know if it's a big role now. I don't even know, to be honest with you, if it's not a big role or a cameo or something with the substance.
Unfortunately, I mean, one character I think would be kind of cool to do that I don't know if they would do or not. There's a Chinese superhero called the Collective Man. And it was 5 quintuplets that could merge into one dude. And you have the strength of 5 dudes and moves as fast as 5 dudes and all things. So he was called the Collective Man. So they might do a Collective Man because they could do a Collective Man with the multiverse. And so those 5 versions of himself merge in and he becomes like the Collective Man. It'll be kind of a play on the multiversity aspect of Loki and what's going on with the Kang saga. That'd be kind of cool. Obviously, you could even do keep it OG to the comics. Make it Loki goes into a universe where the Ancient One is actually an Asian dude, like it was in the comics. That'd be kind of cool to see a multiverse Asian Ancient One. So live in the Himalayas. That can be like a funky thing to play off too. I wouldn't mind. That'd be kind of cool too. Or keep it in the Doctor Strange realm if you want to go it. The wizard that was like kind of, I think, believe they just changed the canon right now where the first Sorcerer Supreme was Agamotto, because you know how Strange has the Eye of
Gotcha.
Agamotto.
Right, right.
So the first was Agamotto. So you could be Agamotto. That'd be kind of cool too. I think that would play really well actually. Um, or I don't think they're going to connect anything to like either a Shang-Chi or an Iron Fist universe. I think I would keep those two properties apart from
That's too
him.
easy.
So,
That's low hanging
yeah,
fruit,
that's what I'm
right?
saying. I mean, like it'd be like
Yeah,
this.
to put him in the
I
Shang-Chi. Yeah, come. I mean, I get it, but that's a little on the nose.
the only other thing I could think of, which would be kind of cool, is there was a bunch of Asian characters, Asian comic book characters that Marvel launched maybe like 5-6 years ago. Well, in fact, one of them was a character called the Swordsman that he just became the new Iron Fist in comics, which is a really cool storyline. But if you wanted to start integrating some of those Asian or Pan Asian characters into the world, he could be one of those characters going into with Loki as well. It's just sort of like a touchstone, like, oh, we got these guys in reserve. You don't even know that these coming in. So and if you introduce the swordsman, he could be the great great grandfather of the descendant of the swordsman now that becomes the Iron Fist. That could be a great way to launch the Iron Fist series, a new Iron Fist series to be a companion to Daredevil. That might be an option too to kind of see that play off. So I mean, there's a couple of things over there, but or they could just make a whole new character. Marvel's done that
I mean,
sometimes too. There's like this
I hope
is
he's not the guy that
so.
January comes out real quick and I never see him again. That kind of sucks.
I hope not.
He
No,
deserves
don't be
better
a
than that.
red.
He's short round for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
God,
give
one of the Goonies,
show
man.
this man his
Get him his due.
respect.
He's
Give
it's
us.
due. The man needs his due. Come on now. So.
He wants flowers. Give it to him.
Exactly. He's
Earned it.
earned it, and he's back in the spotlight. Good to see that. So good for Kevin Feige and all that. Um, big rumor time. This is an interesting one because I kind of like this rumor. So now it's been pure speculation. I've heard nothing, and you know, maybe it's gains traction. But apparently, there's a rumor going on about Adam Driver, Kylo Ren himself, already in the Disney family. So why not keep him, right? So apparently, he's rumored to be Reed Richards, of course, in Fantastic Four. And I also heard Doctor Doom as well, or Doctor Doom as well. Interesting choice.
It's a choice.
Again, it's pure,
I don't.
but
Part of me wants to go. Of course, Doom. He was Kylo Ren, but then again, why are you gonna do another dude in a mask?
yeah,
So
okay, fair.
yeah. So I kind of like the Reed Richards of it all. To be honest, it's one of those choices where I wasn't thinking about it, but now that I have, I'm like,
Right?
it's a really.
Yeah. Same thing. I'm like that. I mean, it works for Doom too, as it does.
I
It
said
does.
he works great for Doom too.
But
Like
you're right. We've seen that, so I don't know if he was going to do that. But yeah, I said interesting choice. He's a great actor. He really is. I like him a lot.
so think about it like this. I believe when we were talking about how after Henry Cavill got fired from DC, what could he do? And one of the things I pitched up was either Sabretooth or Doom.
Mm-hmm.
That was my two big pitches for him. Let's juxtapose this. Could you see Cavill playing off Driver and with a chemistry on it? Do you think that'd be something that would be fun to see, or is it like too handsome of a man versus a man who's weirdly handsome?
Might be a bit much. I don't know. It might be a bit
right.
much. Yeah.
Like you would if you got because Driver is a real particular actor.
He is.
So,
absolutely he is. Yeah.
So if you get Driver as Reed, you got to find someone who plays off his Doom really well.
I'm not sure. I mean, I love Henry Cavill, but I don't know. I mean, listen, they could have worked. Obviously, anything could work, but I don't see it in my head. I'm thinking like,
I don't see Cavill as Doom if you get Driver as Reed.
And listen, and Driver makes sense. Good actor, he's a big guy, so fits that superhero role physique, and Rich is kind of a nerd, but you want your superhero style a little bit, a little bit of bulk to him,
but has an intensity,
right? Exactly, pushed, right? A little
right.
gravitas to it. So I like that.
Sure.
That's not. I mean, again, this is nothing but speculation. As far as I know, they're probably already cast this, to be honest with you. So I don't know, but it's interesting that this is kind of floating out there. It is something. Well, there's smoke, right? Who knows, right?
So,
It could just be
but
talks,
like,
but
so if you're a producer in that, who would you think would be a good Doom to play against his Reed?
because Doom, they're around the same age. I don't think that matters, but I guess
Around the same age,
I
but
get this.
remember, super arrogant,
Oh no,
but
right?
with
He's
the
got that
intellect
air
to back it up.
superiority to him, and
And also, if we're going to talk looks wise, Doom is more handsome than Reed. That's not even a point of contention.
well, which Henry Cavill fits that bill. I mean,
Right, but
I mean, I've been a best
not
judge, but I
Henry
would assume
Cavill
he's better
handsome.
looking
Like,
than
Henry Cavill looks like he should be a
right.
superhero.
Yeah, he's
Doom looks like the best looking dude in the room.
yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like it's a different level.
Man. John
See, it's kind of a
John
tricky.
Hamm is too old.
Too old.
He's too
Too
old.
old. They
But I think
can't
he
do
could
that.
have. 10
Yeah.
years ago, I thought he really would have worked as Doom.
15. 15 it would
Fair
have
enough,
worked.
15. But he would
Yeah,
have worked
15
back
it would
in
have
the
worked.
day.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's kind of with Driver, you're sort of putting yourself in this really weird kind of like hole a little bit because you want to get somebody really because the thing Driver is a really good actor, so you want to get somebody. Honestly,
Yeah, you want someone to go toe to toe with him essentially on camera.
if
You really do.
if he wasn't already Moon Knight, Oscar Isaac would have been a great Doom.
He's just so small in stature. I don't know if he presents.
I'm talking in terms of acting.
But
ability.
sure,
Like
sure. No, yeah, you can act. There's no question
like
about it.
like
But
imagine if Oscar Isaac was doing a super confident but with an intellect that completely like think of the character he did for Ex Machina without the without an ego that made him not realize this flaw, but an ego that made him
I mean,
100% know what he was
bill,
doing.
but just not against Driver doesn't quite work in terms of. I need some. I don't know. Timothy Chalamet, one that kind of comes to mind. Young.
That would be kind of cool. I think Timothy Chalamet a little bit on that. Yeah, I think a little bit.
Coming to mind. That was tough. That's one I think of. But he comes to mind. I like that option.
Yeah.
Oh, again, we just talked about him. I don't know because he's talked about it. He's in my head now. The guy we just talked about. I forgot his name, but from Top Gun, the douchey guy, the good-looking guy.
Right. I know you're talking. You know what? Here's kind of a weird thing too, because he was Reed in the Fantastic Four stick. Miles Teller.
Oh, Miles. We would have seen him there. So if we hadn't seen him, I would have said yes. But we've seen him there. You don't want that stench on there. You don't.
I kind of like it because it's such a dark horse that he's playing the opposite. But and here's the way I see it. Because Fantastic Four stick was supposed to be a big vehicle for him that bottomed the fuck out. Imagine all the angst that he has in this for the property that he would just focus on Driver as being Doom. I think that's almost a brilliant casting. Is having him be Doom.
I like the cat. The stench of it. It'd be hard for me to let that go. If it wasn't for that, I would say yes because I like Miles Teller. He's really good.
Yeah, Miles Teller's really good. Yeah, I like him.
He's got the physicality. He's a good looking guy. That will work. But let's see. I mean, again, we're still waiting for this cast. I don't know why it's taking so long to announce it.
By the way, I heard a rumor. That Marvel's planning on holding on to Doom until after Secret War.
The second Avengers, right? Secret War. But
right, because it's first is Kang Dynasty, and then it's Secret Wars.
Doesn't he have a big part in Secret War?
I don't think he's even gonna have a big part.
No, but in the comics, doesn't he have like a big?
Oh, he's massive.
That's what I'm saying. Right. So that's a huge change from.
But from what I've been hearing,
interesting.
They're repurposing Secret Wars to be a Kang heavy event only. So
interesting. Okay, well, if that is the case, yeah, you don't need Doom there clogging up space. I get that, but I just assume because we talked about it, he'd be the baddie in Fantastic Four because you had to start with Doom, right? Essentially,
right.
But with his involvement in the comics of Secret, it makes sense for him to be the main guy, one of the main guys.
Even though I wouldn't mind seeing Victor Von Doom in Secret Wars, but Doctor Doom after the fact, like maybe. Experiencing Secret Wars makes him realize there's so much more power out there.
I mean, that's fine. I mean, he could be the next big baddie. I guess I don't know.
Right.
I guess it
Because
makes sense.
that would be a cool way
It
to
makes
do
sense.
it, is to have your big tentpole movie inspire your next
No,
villain.
no, that's fair. I mean, that could work. I don't have a problem with that. But
Yes,
it's
that'd be
definitely
kind
a
of
big
cool.
change from what we know the story of Secret Wars.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so
absolutely.
I'm
Huge
curious
change.
how they
Definitely.
approach it differently, right? We'll find out in a couple years or whatever. But that's interesting. That's an interesting little thing. But let's stay with that, because obviously kicking off this whole Kang thing is Ant-Man, right? The
Right.
trailer dropped earlier this week. You and I
Yes,
talked, and
yes, yes.
I left it up to you to let me know if I should watch it or not, because I generally don't watch these later trailers of these movies.
Correct.
You text me the following day, and you said not to watch it,
Don't
so
watch
I
it.
didn't watch it.
Is it? And it's not. It is not a slight
Mm-hmm.
against the trailer. It's a great trailer. 8.5 out of 10. Really liked it. But there was no moment that made me go, Jose, I'm gonna do an impression of Heath Ledger Joker. You're gonna have to break your one rule. Like I was not gonna do that to you for this one. There was nothing about it that made me go, oh. It was good,
Okay.
but not enough to make you go. Because I'll tell you what, if I recommended that trailer to you, you would never listen to any one of my recommendations after it. And I was like,
So
I
I mean,
can't.
yeah, I heard mixed things about. Like, I mean, obviously there was no cam. I would have heard about a cam that would have leaked somewhere. Someone would have mentioned something. So,
I mean, there
well, I know
was,
Moda, but we knew he was going to be in it anyway. That's not a big
but
surprise. But
the trailer confirmed who was going to be Modoc.
right,
There's been
but
a
I
lot of
mean,
rumors about it. This reconfirmed about it. So you saw it's
but that's like
literally
a
you got to
major,
pause it
like,
and it's
that's not like
there.
Wolverine
Right.
or a big name that
No,
everyone's
right,
gonna
right,
remember.
right, right,
So
right, right.
whatever. But I mean, other than that, I heard it's fine. I heard it's okay. Whatever. I mean, I'll ask you this, right? Because we talked about Phase
Yes, we did.
Five, and okay, they have to start off on the right foot, because let's be honest, it was up and down the last Phase Four, right? We'll leave it at that. Some good stuff, some not so good things. Overall, it lacked a lot, right? And particularly lacking a vision. This one, obviously, it's going to be pivotal. Perrine came out saying this is going to be like a pivotal as a Civil War or the third Captain America. I forget which one it is. I can't remember the name now.
Civil War.
Civil War,
Civil War
right?
is the
Civil
third
War
Captain
or
America.
Winter Soldier. I'm sorry, those are two.
Winter
Right,
Soldier. Okay.
that kind of impact, which doesn't surprise me because Kang, you're setting up the villain, right, for the next Avengers. So yeah, you're
Right.
pivotal. I get that, but it get to get the good start, right? So I'll ask you, is based off the trailer, right? Obviously, this movie could be the greatest thing you've ever seen. Maybe it's just nonsense. I don't know, right?
Sure.
Did the trailer give you the sense that we're gonna get off to, like, man? I'm not talking about just we know it's gonna be good. I know it, right? I don't think it's
I think this is going to be, in terms of like crowd pleasing, this is probably going to be the biggest earner and the biggest action ant movie out of all three.
well.
It's going to make the most money, and it's going to have the biggest
That doesn't
action
say a
set
whole
piece
lot, but
for its franchise.
those movies haven't really made a lot of money. They've done fine, but
I think it'll do better than fine. This is going to be one of those, like, you need to watch this.
do you get that feeling though? Like, it's gonna be like, I'm guessing worst case is tier three, best case tier two, best. Do you get a sense that this is gonna really kick this off the way you and I want this to be kicked off?
Listen,
Honestly,
if
honestly.
if 22 has taught us anything, is that you and me watch a trailer and we get an assumption and we failed miserably. None of our predictions, we came close, but none of us were like spot on, like, oh man, this was on the money. Our predictions were off based on trailers, based on like a viewer review or earnings. We were completely off. The only thing we were close to was Black Panther Wakanda Forever. And it was me. So what I'm trying to say is, like, I feel like this movie is going to feel, in terms of like scope, it's going to be somewhere between Civil War and the first Avengers movie in terms of scope.
Okay.
Okay, because you have Kang and his entire army. Like, there's no way you can't do this small, for lack of a better term. There's going to be a lot of stuff, and there's rumors that Ant-Man may die, whether it's Paul Rudd
Here
or
not
Michael
forever.
Douglas.
Ant-Man does die. I tell you, I've confirmed that because 800 versions of him. Who gives a fuck? So let's move on from that. That's
uh,
nonsense. But go ahead.
well, I mean, but this Paul Rudd that we've all gone to love may die. I mean, granted, when Brian Michael Bendis took over writing the Avengers, he did an event called Avengers Assembled that started with Ant-Man's character blowing up. Scott Lang blew up. He died right off the bat. It was horrendous. So there's precedent, and because of that, like, oh, what's happened? But like, there's a line in the trailer that made me think this is the potential for something bigger than most nerds here are not even noticing. So let me give you a little context to it. In the Jonathan Hickman, the most recent version of Secret Wars that Jonathan Hickman did, which is a fantastic 8-issue comic book, read it, it's incredible. The lead up to Secret Wars, Mr. Fantastic and the Illuminati had discovered that there's incursions, the multiverse is ending, and Mr. Fantastic was dealt with the realization like, oh my God, I can't stop this. The multiverse is going to end. And his daughter comes up to me. His daughter Valeria, super smart. She's like, Dad, you're looking at it wrong. And he's like, what am I missing? She's like, you're trying to figure out how to win. And you can't. So just because you can't win, you have to move on to the next choice. He's like, what's that? He goes, don't lose. Just because you're not going to win doesn't mean you have to lose. There is another option.
Interesting.
And there's a scene in the trailer when Scott Lang is embroiled with, I'm using selective words because I don't want you to understand the full context of the scene. He's embroiled with Kang, and he tells Kang, says to the effect of like, do you think you can win? And Scott says, no, but we can both lose. And hearing that, it's very similar to what Hickman was doing to the lead up to Secret Wars, which is what they're going to go to. So I feel like they're setting the idea of like how we're going to get to Secret Wars, which is like at some points we may not win, but that doesn't mean we have to lose. And sometimes winning is making sure we both lose. And I like that wordplay. I think it's going to connect to what Hickman was doing, which makes me think that this movie is going to be a surprisingly big and good movie.
Okay. I mean,
I could see a Rotten Tomatoes score of like 89.
Here, when we went back originally, we can't go back on it now, but we had 82 on there. I had 75. So we're both...
I'm a little higher now. I feel like it's going to get to like 89.
But, I mean, let's see. I hope it is. I mean, some people told me they didn't like the trailer and all. I mean, the more casual fans, because... And I think the word you saw was just typical stuff.
Really typical.
I mean, that is.
I literally
CGI fest, and all this.
Well, I mean,
I don't know. Well, I mean, I didn't see it, so I don't know. But I get I get how the casual fan may say that because I'm sure most traders.
I feel like they're just saying things to say words that they've heard people complain about or say because
I guess
the movie's happening in the quantum realm. What do you want? A street alley? Like, do you want it to have
I get it, but again, the casual fan knows the quantum realm like they know my third cousin, which I don't even know. So what does that tell you? They don't know anything about it. To them, they're just looking at it as like a bunch of colors and shit on screen. That's what they see, right?
There you go.
You gotta look at the perspective of the casual fan who way outnumber the nerds by a vast majority. So they're looking at it like, because they don't know anything about anything. They just see it and like, okay, whatever. Even my girlfriend did see it. I told her to watch it, let me know, and she stopped watching halfway through. And she does more. She does. It just wasn't interesting to her. And she likes Ant-Man, but it was just like, okay, it's the same thing they've seen 1,000 times. I get it. Doesn't mean it's not going to be good. Which is why I question whether, okay, what exactly. Now I'm really curious to see what was shown, but I mean, that's just stuff that I heard. People said they liked it. People said it was okay.
Like the movie. I'm more excited for the movie now after that trailer than before.
The trailer should do. I mean, I hope it's good. I don't know. Let's see. I mean, I want it to be good. I don't know. I read somewhere this is an interesting thing that it said someone who really liked the first two Ant-Man movies. He said this felt the least Ant-Man of the Ant-Man films, and not in a good way.
It felt more like a little closer to an Avengers movie.
Right, and I think that, and I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't know. He said if you're he's a big Ant-Man fan. He's like, this is like watching Avengers. Because Ant-Man was a different kind of movie from Marvel. It really was.
Absolutely.
A palate cleanser. You know, Ant-Man's not exactly the guy you rely on to go
For,
fight the big baddie. He's not.
absolutely not.
So
Right.
I mean, I
Sure.
don't think they're gonna fight because I would assume Kang is much more powerful. But whatever, it's Marvel and they fuck everything up anyway.
Oh,
So
I mean,
that being said,
Kang murders Ant-Man 999,999
right?
times to
So
one.
as
Like,
I'm saying, like, okay, if they fight, okay, really? I don't know, right? I mean, I'm just saying, it's like, okay, whatever. But let's see.
but to me, that makes it exciting because if you're going to tell this story, you have to go against not only the casual fans' expectations of whatever that could be, but every comic fan's
Well, it's hard
expectations as
because
well.
if you're gonna make Kang the big baddie, he has to be formidable. And if he
Of
and if he
course.
struggles with Ant Man, I don't care how they put it, that screams
But
the
that's
antithesis
the
of
thing.
being formidable. Right, it's that guy like Thanos.
He's
Thanos came out the first time I really saw Thanos. He fucked up. He fucked up the Hulk, right? Who was
right.
unbeatable, like with ease. Like, oh shit, this guy is legit. It's a fight to him and Ant Man, and he struggled to beat Ant Man. Like,
Well,
okay,
not like I said because I use the word embroiled, but let's just say anytime that there is some sort of like altercation between both of them, Kang is winning. There's no part of me that shows Kang
let's
like
see.
barely able to
That's
keep
fine, but
up.
let's see how that works out. Because it's just odd, right? It can't come off like Ant Man's gonna be saving the day here in that way. This movie is gonna end in a dark note. It needs to, anyway.
I mean, like you said, if you're gonna make Kang,
Right. I
what
mean,
are you
yeah,
want to show the world how
yeah. That's what
badass
I'm saying.
Kang
He ain't gonna
is?
die.
Yeah, and you kind of have to give it like an Empire Strikes
of
Back
course,
ending,
it's or like
like they'll
or
survive, but like
yes,
really wounded, and somebody's dead, and
yeah.
yeah,
It's gotta be something like this. It's gotta be a dark. It has to. Otherwise, it's kind of weird if it's not. But let's see. Listen, this comes out what, a month away, maybe.
yeah, about a
Just
month, yeah.
about, so excited about that. I hope we get to watch it early. Um. So yeah. So that actually ends the Nuggets, but like we did last week, we debuted our mini version of a show. Pitch, please.
Never come out or has come out and bombed horribly. And so, if there could be some sort of hard reboot, soft reboot, first time cold pitch, how would you pitch this IP? And you could go anything from like, this is my basic idea to as specific as like, I got producer, director, writer, I want actors. How would you compile this IP to make it friggin' awesome?
So that being
And that
said,
is what Pitch Please is all
I
about.
did. I was going through some stuff, and we talked about Escape from New York and Captain Planet, which
Captain
just
Planet.
would not be pitching please that, but there was a remake I saw when it caught my eye. Speaking of the great John Carpenter,
Uh-huh.
They Live is being potentially remade, whatever the case is. Now, They Live is a 80s great B movie style science fiction kind of film. A guy, regular Joe Schmo, who discovers that the aliens are pretty much in control of everything. They're kind of subduing society and moving up the ranks, if you will. Very cool concept, very good. I mean, it's a B style movie. Don't get me wrong, Roddy Piper, but that's a movie that begs for a remake because it's pretty relevant. You can really make that relevant to today's time. Easy. The story wise, it holds up.
Super.
Yeah, it holds up greatly, right? Now we're using
Now more than ever.
right, exactly, absolutely, and using technology now, that a bigger budget. So I figured They Live, Eric. I'm gonna put you under the gun today because last week I was kind of under the gun. So
Yeah.
They Live. I forgot who the co-star was, but they had that great, really great grounded fight scene. A lot of wrestling moves with
Oh
Roddy
yeah.
Piper and
That's it.
I forgot his name, but
If you've never seen
yeah.
the They Live fight scene, but you watched the episode of South Park with that Quickle fight,
yeah.
you've seen the They Live fight scene.
Yeah,
That
that's
is
fair, yeah.
almost shot for shot.
Yeah, and
exactly.
it's such a great scene. Keith David, there we go, that's his name. Was the other guy?
Spawn.
Yeah. And he what happened?
They did the voice of Spawn
Oh,
for the cartoon on
yeah,
HBO.
absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, I get a great fight scene. It's a really cool flick. And the whole thing with sunglasses. He puts the sunglasses on. He sees all black
and you
and
saw
white.
what the real world
right, what
was.
it looked like, and it's subliminal messaging, and all the billboards and newspapers and people, aliens looking like humans. Fascinating concept. So Eric, They Live, very contemporary story.
All right. So
Let's start
this
with.
is how I would.
Well, you can start with the actors. It's easier to start with actors or director. Who we got here?
All right. So just because I think this world is. I don't want just to have a visual change. I want to have like a world texture change. I want the movie directed by David Fincher.
Good choice, actually. Yeah,
David Fincher. Think
that's a good
of
choice.
Seven. Think of uh, 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 Fight Club. That dirty griminess that he has for the world. I want that to be the world when the glasses come on. I want that to be the world.
And actually, that
So
does kind of work. That kind of that tone, though darker. Yeah, I
yeah,
like that. I like that because obviously now you're going more for serious because it's not campy. It's not, but it's 80s, right? Most 80s are campy
right.
stuff. But you're looking more a lot more darker, serious tone for this film.
And because I wanted to feel really like we're fighting for survival, the fight team from the raid gets hired to do all the fight scenes, including the alleyway fight scene.
You gotta
So,
have an alleyway fight, you know.
oh, you
Come
got
on,
it. Like
man.
I want that 10 minutes, and it's gonna be just two dudes, and it doesn't have to be extreme martial. I just want two dudes fighting and beating the shit out of
Yeah,
each other,
and that was what's great
using things
about that scene,
around.
right? It's not like it's a great choreographed,
It's
kung
not.
fu
It's
fest.
just
It's
two
just
dudes going at it. And the whole point of the fight is one guy is trying to convince his other friend to put on the
yeah,
glasses to look at the world. So it's not to fight to kill, it's to fight to listen.
yeah,
It's incredible.
yeah. It really is.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's
So you get the raid fight team for all the fights, for the gunfights, all that. That's what you're gonna do. You get that.
okay.
Uh if okay, director.
Well, you said David Finch, no? Or you talking about?
Yeah, different. I think.
Okay.
Oh, kind of a weird thing, but I think Quentin Tarantino produced,
Oh, produce.
produced,
Okay, that's
produced,
fine. Yeah, he
produced.
can't direct this movie. It's not gonna work with him.
No, no,
But
maybe script, maybe
maybe,
script,
maybe.
but I definitely want him to produce
Okay.
this because I think he's gonna want it to, he's gonna tell Fisher, I want you to make this the most you movie ever. So go
Fair enough.
visually, give me that. So I would do that. And I think script. The more I think about, I think Quentin Tarantino could be. He's going to be able to make it funny without it. Think of the conversations in Hunt for Red October, like where it's funny without being too
Right.
funny. Like it's going to be that, and I think that'll be really cool. So I would have him produce and write, Fincher direct. For now, the original character, I forgot the character's name, of Roddy
Well, Roddy
Piper.
Piper's character. I look it up now, but as like George Nada, whatever. But yeah, Roddy Piper, the main character, protagonist.
The main character. You want someone who obviously has a physicality to him, but kind of could play off like a dude who is just trying to do the right
Yeah.
thing.
You need like
Life's
an
been bad for
everyday
him.
guy. I think that's key for this film, right? You need an
Every day,
everyday guy you can relate to. Absolutely.
and we talked about. I know actually we didn't talk about this, but I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day. I go for Batista.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I really was
Yes.
when I first saw him. Like, oh my, Pati's the first thing that popped in my head was Day Live. I think, yeah, because he could play that. He's got the physicality, obviously.
He could look like a guy who, and because of the tattoos, he ran with a bad crowd,
Right.
turned his
Because
life
yeah,
around,
Roddy
but
Piper
life's been
originally
hard.
he was
He's
kind of
still.
a nomad. He was running and doing construction. He was, again, everyday guy.
But
Right?
he looks like a guy who lived that
Yeah.
life.
Hard
So
hat,
when
lunchbox.
for
That kind
him
of guy.
to be shocked enough to fight a space empire, you gotta have a guy who, like, when he snaps, you're like, I'm so glad he snapped for the right reasons, or else we would all be in trouble.
And another good thing about that is because Piper was a big guy. He's not as big as Batista, but he was a big guy.
Right.
He's a wrestler. But even the regular humans who are not in the know will fear him as well because you got this big guy just talking nonsense, not nonsense.
Even him trying to be helpful,
Right, people
looks
be like, whoa,
menacing and
right,
crazy.
exactly. And he's not a good looking guy. I don't think he's that good looking. So it's perfect, right? It's not distracting.
And you know who I get to play Keith David's
Ooh,
character?
I'm interested in this one. I didn't think about that.
I'm gonna murder his name, but Yaya.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
He was Black Manta
And
in
Aquaman,
Aquaman.
yeah, he was in
He was Dr. Manhattan in the Watchmen series.
He was,
He's now gonna be Wonder Man.
he was a
I get
Candyman
him
as
to
well.
be
Yeah,
I get him to be Roddy
it's not a
Piper.
bad choice. Not a bad choice. This is one of the few movies I say not The Rock. Not Henry Cavill. He's too good looking for this kind of movie.
I couldn't. No.
Doesn't work at all. But
So now you, sir, what's your take on
Well,
this? So you've been sitting on this
I
Easter
haven't
egg
said
for
it, but I
so long.
haven't thought about it. It's not really the latest in your hat, but there is a female character in this too, though.
Oh, right, because there's a girl who works at the bank.
No,
I
she's
think it is that she ends
she's a
up.
TV network. She works with a network, which is important because
All right, okay. So TV network girl that an executive. Uh, no, that's too comedic relief.
no,
Um,
it's a dark tone. You gotta keep it. Again, it's a serious
yeah.
movie.
I'm trying to say. I want something that's got that has a little bit of like it can't be happy, but it's got to be. But you know
Someone
what?
it's gotta be good look. She's a TV personality, so someone. I right now I'm thinking Margot Robbie for some reason.
I think it's too easy. I think
It's
Margot
too easy.
Robbie's too much of a choice.
Agreed. It's too easy. I
Yeah,
just in my head, I'm just
you
thinking
gotta
that. But it's like who could work? I mean,
you gotta bring it down a little bit. You know who I wouldn't mind seeing, and this is. I feel like I'm doing this as not only a good cast, but like I'm community service, like I'm saving her. The girl who plays Starfire on Titans. She would be the she would be the
I
newscaster.
don't want anybody from Titans ruining this.
I know, but
I don't want
she
their stench on
actually
this, dude.
is.
I really don't.
She's actually I like her acting ability. She gives 110% to garbage. So imagine if you give her something good, it would be really nice. I think this should be a really fun character to play.
I don't know. I'm not, that one's tough.
Tell you,
That one's tough. But
I'm telling you.
now I haven't even thought about the conflicts. I'm gonna put that in your hand. But let's because in the original movie, we'll start with this, right? They had they used the sunglasses. Sunglasses was
The
how
glasses,
you could
right?
see it. You can move away
Sure.
from that, right?
Oh no, this is what you do. They're like Google glasses with enhanced or with you know how they have like enhanced reality. So it's the enhanced reality on like the Google glasses that lets you see
It feels
stuff
like
like
five
that.
years ago when that thing was kind of almost getting out in the market. Yeah, but now
But that's no exactly the point is like it didn't work, but then by mistake they figured out they can proxy for this. They can double as that. And so it's the kind of thing where
well,
they're
I'll say
they're
it's because the glasses were made by you know the rebellion or whatever you want to call them. I guess those who in the know, I mean, would they
sure.
have the money to produce that? And it's so the glasses are obvious, right? Very
Right.
subtle. If we wear sunglasses, it works, right? I don't know if Google. You see the aliens, okay? Anybody wearing Google Glass thing or whatever is obviously someone who knows who we are. It stands out too much. So I don't think that will work.
Okay.
Maybe
All
I mean,
right.
you can keep it simple. I mean, this is kind of too simple. But I mean, an app. Listen, with technology and social media, an app on the phone very simple. You can very do because everyone's on their phones. Um,
So it's once again you're doing the enhanced reality where you're doing this, so you kind of see them like that when you go through the phone
Perhaps or
frame.
something along this line, or maybe they'll put like contact lens or something along
Contacts.
like contact lens. Maybe contact lenses, obviously.
I like I like the phone idea, but it's because of the phone idea that I think the Google Glasses
It's
work
hard.
as well.
It's something subtle, right? Like you can put a
Right.
the contact and it would just fine. You can't even see it, right? So it's as subtle as it gets, right? And you can at least put one on. It's again black and white or however they want to do that, vision, and you can see what's behind the curtain,
Well, I
right?
think
Essentially.
you could still have the glasses, it's there, but like there's just a little bit tweaked on it, a little bit of like a camera on the sides that with a lens that adjusts so you can kind of see things. So it's real subtle. Like if you pay attention to it, you'll notice it. But at first glance, you wouldn't even realize that it's a tweaked out glasses. So that's why I said that because of the AR of it all.
And I would definitely change the look of the aliens. That was way too 80s.
Oh yeah, yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah. Of course, of
really bad,
course,
right?
of course, of course.
Really bad. I don't think you need anything to that extreme. Again, it could be
I
subtle.
would want to stick to the color scheme of gray and red. I like that as a
No, yeah,
color
that's fine.
scheme.
Something along those lines. Just ground it a little bit. But that's an easy fix.
Yeah,
That's just more because it's the 80s and
but I kind of also like the fact that they're so creepy, silly looking that you're just like, oh, you're clearly not a human, but you could dress like like they're essentially all those aliens are cosplaying as humans is what they're doing. Like they don't even have like a face that turn like it's just a projection, and they're wearing suits and the human clothes and all that. So either go completely ridiculous, like make them look like lizard men, or you keep it almost like an atrophied, like sunken in, barely skin and bones version of like a human meets like a gray. That's how I kind of
yeah,
do it, like
something
a
like that.
very
Yeah, where
like
it's not too over the
you know,
top. It's kind of still subtle, but
yeah,
it gets the point
like
across.
no lips but just teeth.
Yeah,
So it's
that
kind
yeah,
of like like a
yeah,
yeah,
that works. Yeah, I think
stuff like that,
that
stuff
could
like that.
work. That's for me. you really don't have to. It's a rare movie. You don't have to really update this story that much, right?
No, you
You
don't.
really don't. I mean, you can almost do almost what they did in the first one, and it fly, right? Because obviously
Yeah.
it's you know class division essentially, right? The aliens or those who are in cahoots with them are at the top, and the rest of us are bottom feeders, and we have no idea what the fuck is
I
going
mean,
on. We're consuming and doing this like the movie implies. That still
think
works.
of it this
That
way.
still works.
Anytime they have a fight with aliens, it's reported as an active shooter incident, always spinning the society again. Like it is so brilliant in its simplicity
Oh,
at this point.
absolutely. I mean, you could have a lot of the cops as aliens, which make a lot of sense, or being controlled because they're the one keeping
Uh-huh.
the man down. The
That's
colorful,
right.
the minorities were all like,
And and would cable TV be echo chambers? Just the amount of stuff that they're putting out there to keep you locked in. It almost writes itself, which
it's
is
very, like I said, it's social. Obviously, you include social media. Obviously, a lot of those who own social media, TikTok, all this stuff is all controlled by an
yeah.
alien, keeping your control. Twitter, the
Uh-huh.
way to monitor, and that's a great way to.
It would be great if they showed that all the dances that people
Oh my
do
god.
on TikTok are like basically the tricks you teach your pet. Like Paul, roll over, play dead.
Well, that's
That's
true.
us doing
That'd be
it's
great.
just,
Like it's one of them, or the influencers are aliens, and they're just like, hey,
oh, all the
all well,
influencers,
most
all the
all right, buy
influencers.
this,
Yeah,
buy
yeah.
that, and we're here. Idolize us, etc., etc. Strive to be us, which we never can. In the grand scheme of things, all that stuff. This movie just works so perfectly, perfectly. To this movie's been begging for a
You know,
remake.
you
It's
know,
begging for a
it'll
remake.
be really funny. It'll be really funny. Is like 50% of YouTubers are aliens, and the other 50% are humans. But all our nerd stuff are alien propaganda, like bought into the system. That would be great.
See, I can see.
That would
They can
be
do the very meta for Disney does. You have Kathleen Kennedy as an alien doing real shitty shit to divide the fans and keep us fighting amongst ourselves. It's a genius move. Um,
Kathleen Kennedy and Anna Pasquale just
just manipulating
manipulating
the
and just
system. Kevin Feige's in the. He's a human.
Kevin
He's
Feige.
a
No,
human.
Kevin Feige's got the glasses.
He made me. But it could work. I mean, if done, like I said, it has to be a serious tone. It can't be campy like that. This movie could
Right.
really, really work thematic. I think.
Well, I told you, with Fincher as Fincher's the director, I want serious.
If I don't get Fincher, Denis Villeneuve will be another one whose name comes to mind.
I don't like
Arrival
Denny.
later on,
I think
Doom, because again he can do the grand scale stuff, but
he can, but
he's also
I
very
think
dark and very serious director, and
he would
he tells a good
make
story.
it almost. I feel like he'd make it too slow and introspective, and this is a movie where you can't be too slow, or else.
It can be both. I think he can do both. We've seen him do. I mean, Dune. We'll see part two how that ends up being. I think it's more action to that because it's.
We're mostly going for Blade Runner was
It
beautiful,
was great.
but
I mean, yeah, it's really
there
good.
there was parts that were a little slow, and I think
Agreed.
it's because he was like, well, this is what they did in the original Blade Runner. I go, yeah, but this is a different story than the original Blade Runner, so you don't have to pace it the same. So like that's the thing. I
Well, if
feel
it's
like it's almost
Tarantino
like,
producing it, he'll kind of maybe push him to do.
oh, so you're agreeing Tarantino should
Well,
produce?
I
You're
like that
agreeing to
idea.
that?
Absolutely, yeah. I like that idea. Right,
Okay.
keep it, and he can still write it.
Yeah.
But have some of the vision, the serious take on it that even or a Fincher. They're both very, very specific tone. The one needs that kind of tone. I don't want this to be happy
Yeah,
go
yeah, yeah.
lucky,
It's got
campy nonsense. Or I don't want it to be like an action film. This is not an action
no.
film
It can't be an action.
at all.
No,
It has some moments of action, of course, i.e. the fight, for example, or towards the end. But that isn't like blasting lasers and fighting aliens. I don't want to see
no.
that. I don't want to see this. It's going to be very grounded, very thought-provoking film. If the person is very thought-provoking, it's just because it's a B movie, no one's seen it.
I would almost say that up until Batista, which I think we both agreed would play Roddy Piper's character,
no doubt.
up until Batista gets the glasses on, it almost feels like falling down.
Yeah.
Like a guy who's getting pushed to his limit, doesn't know what's going to happen, and you're like, oh man, the world's about to break him.
Yeah.
That's
Can't
it. He's just
catch
trying to survive.
catch a break or whatever, and
He's
and
trying
he's like
to keep it together.
he's realizing, oh shit, this is why, all right, which is great because we can all relate to that. Oh, no wonder we can't, I get it.
And then he gets in a situation where a cop clearly kills somebody that did nothing wrong, and then he realizes that they were going after these glasses or phones, And when if it gets next, and when the cop is going away, he's like trying to figure out what's going on. When he does that or puts it on, boom, and he's like, "Oh
It's
shit!"
all
And it
making
all
sense. It's
changes.
all we have people in
And it all
politics
changes.
watching that political show
Uh
or
huh.
whatever, and you see God, there's way it's ripe. It's way so ripe for a remake.
So
It, it's it's just
great, great pick today. By the way,
I
that was a
thank you.
great
Appreciate
pick.
it. Yeah.
That's real. Yeah.
I mean, if this movie was
So,
done by not by John Carpenter or had a budget, it would have been. I thought it would have been so good. I don't know if people would have seen it. People would know more about this film.
right.
But it's a B style movie, so I get it. But you watch it, man,
Absolutely.
and it's kind of campy at times. But you watch it, it's such a good story, and it makes so much sense. I mean, it's perfect. Any theorist, any conspiracy theorist out there looking at this, says, "Oh yeah, I knew it." That's exactly what they were saying.
That's yeah.
Ex-
They're like, you
yeah,
see what I'm
yeah,
saying?
it's so
It would
relevant. Yeah,
become
it's so relevant.
it would destroy the Matrix meme
Oh my
business because it
god.
would all be those memes from
I
now
mean,
on.
this could be
No, the
like
red pill, blue pill. Like you got the glasses, man. You see
yeah, done
things.
correctly, this could be a Matrix esque impact in terms of film, right? Because the first one was like, oh man,
Absolutely.
when a different world I knew is another world. Of course, right? This one, it's and that was like 20 years ago. That movie came out 30 years. Like, wow, how was the Matrix? I don't know, 20 some years. We need something like that. Yeah, begging for it. I
Yeah.
hope they do well, and I think it's supposed to be in the works. God, don't mess this one up. It's just too good not to mess up. It's too good of a story to get just put under the rug or some idiot directs it and say, yeah, some first timer with unknown guys. Oh god, I wouldn't mind. I'll go as far as I wouldn't mind if Blumhouse took a run at this.
I think it'd be too small. I
It
think
may
you
be,
need
but
to if you're if
I'm saying
movie needs to be a certain size. Finch is the
this is
guy
the
to do
best
it.
of the.
That's what's
Because
real.
if it's not, I'm just saying if it's not going to get if a big studio to pick it up or what, something like A24, for example, studio,
Right.
that something like
That'd
that,
be kind of right.
I
Sure.
could really see them really taking it seriously because they're very artsy.
Yeah.
Like, perfect, right? If it's not a big studio,
Yeah.
A24, even Blumhouse could really work small, but you don't need a big budget for this either. You really don't. This is a $40 million movie at best, minus special
Yeah.
effects, whatever, nothing else. 40, 50
It's only
at
it's
best.
very it's all practical effects
It really
except for
is.
like three
That's what I'm
moments,
saying. And the
right?
rest is all
So
grounded stuff. Again, there's not lasers
yeah.
and minimal action sequences. So yeah, it's 40, $50 million. That's not a bad budget. The Blumhouse,
No.
$2 million. If it's A24, $50,000. It all works out. Everybody wins. Everything Everywhere Once had a really small budget. Look what they did with Everything Everywhere Once. That was a small budget, and
Super.
and look what
Yeah.
they did with
It's
that.
real low.
With peanuts. It's exactly that. Peanuts and the change they found on the couch.
Uh-huh.
So it can be
And a
done. So
can do attitude.
yeah, it can be. So either way, so yeah, I'm glad you liked the choice. When we have
I
time,
like it,
we'll
man.
do this every so often, depending on how the news drops and all that. And as we still wait for DC stuff, come on now, let's go already. Jesus, man.
Well, yeah.
Is it mid-month or is it really mid-month? Close enough.
Almost.
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 In a week and a half, we better get some James Gunn. Let's go. But that being said, them is the Nuggets
That
today.
is the show, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to go to like and subscribe on our YouTube channel on the Latin Nerd Network. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Nerdsplaining Pod on Instagram, at Nerdsplaining_ on Twitter. Don't forget to check out all the original audio episodes at ericsilva.com, ERICDASILVA. Don't forget to buy my album, Durably Offensive, while it's there as well. Check out all the shows on the Latin Nerd Network, such as Thanos' Choice, such as The Watch List, and of course, we're coming very soon. We might even do a full episode of Pitch Please. So let us know what you think. Hit like and subscribe. All that always helps us out as well. Guys, as always, I have been Eric Silva. This has been Jose Romero. We have been Nerdsplaining. And if you don't know, now you know. Boom.